Hello. Today I really wanted to talk with you about the 5 stages of spiritual awakening. Can't believe I haven't spoken about this yet. This is important stuff. Quite frankly, if you're listening to my channel and watching my channel, then this is the content I know you want to hear. So we're going on this journey together, right? I'm Jennifer Juniper. I'm here for your call to adventure. So if you like that, give it a like, subscribe, wherever it is, on the wheel, on your computer, on your phone, in your brain. It's all good. So let's talk about this, because this stuff is, it's so juicy, and I'm sure that so many of you have had little snippets of all these things. And this is a journey, right? This is the hero's journey. This is the call to adventure. And in many disciplines, we talk about being on a sacred path of some sort. So I wanted to talk about some that I've been taught and that I particularly have definitely experienced. And if you've experienced any of these or want to have more of a conversation about them at all, please leave a comment below, because every one of these 5 stages is a lifetime in itself. For some of us, they're in this particular order. For some of us, we skip over them and come back to it later. And there's many facets of how you transcend and how you get to a place where you feel comfortable with that transcendence. And you can live in this world while you're transcending. I have to begin with a wonderful poem by, it's just a quote by Rumi. I'm sure many of you guys have already heard it, where Rumi says, "Out beyond the ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." There is a field. I'll meet you there. Like, what is that field? Where's that field? I think that field is always there. I think we see it in little micro places every day of our lives. We see this field of flowers, this field of emptiness, that there's abundance within this sacred space. And that sacred space can materialize time and time again if you notice these 5 stages of awakening. So let me read them to you, and I'll also talk about some like little pieces in between and how those might feel to you. And as I said, this is kind of an ongoing conversation, so I do hope that you leave a few comments. And if there's anything else that you would like to hear or like me to elaborate on, I am happy to do that. The next video after this is going to get into more about like witchy Samhain stuff. But while I was doing that video, I realized I really need to talk about this first, because we're moving into a time of liminal space. And it makes so much sense to talk about this first as we go into the new calendar wheel in September here for much of us as spiritual beings. So here we go. The 5 stages of spiritual awakening. First is, of course, the call to adventure. Hi, I'm Jennifer Juniper. I'm here for your call to adventure. That's why I say that. I am here for you on this journey. So what is your journey? This is the call for you to discover the full potential of why you are here and how that is revealed to you. So what does that mean? That could mean so many things. In fact, I think I'm not even going to get into too many things, because I want to really, these 5 stages actually like speak for themselves in more than one way. So let's just start there. You're on your call to adventure. As I mentioned, if you're here tuning in to me, you're definitely on a call to adventure. Then you're on the search. Rumi also says, give up logic for bewilderment. Allow yourself to be in awe. open new doors, cross new thresholds. That's what this time of year is about as well. I think that it's a time of opening your eyes. And sometimes opening your eyes actually means sitting in meditation with your eyes closed or slightly open. You know, those who practice shamatha, you know. If you know, you know. So that's the second, the search. The third, this is the hard one, the struggle. But here you become the alchemist, the magician. You learn how to turn water into wine, lead into gold, warm into cold, whatever metaphor you want to say. It's a glimpse of finding the unloved aspects of yourself and realizing that you have to love them. How about that? It's just that simple. And what tools and paths and accompaniments you need to make it through the struggle. Now, this could happen at any age, I just want to say, but it is important to know that these stages also, they do sometimes cross a lifetime or decades, what have you. I do love that all of my younger generation spiritual folks are just so unbelievably tapped in, like the next generation, that I think that they're kind of like spiritually bypassing some of these things, or at the very least, they're having more conversations about this stuff. And I really believe that you should have a conversation. So you're on your call to adventure. You begin searching for your community and your resources and the places that blow your mind, all those things. And within those places and those relationships, you realize you might have a little bit of a struggle because you are an enlightened being. So that's number 3, the struggle. Number 4, and the 5 stages of spiritual awakening, is the breakthrough. In Buddhism, they call it like stream entry. So it's when you sort of, you come upon more of an enlightened state. You start to realize that you're on this path, that you're in a place of radical acceptance and radical transformation. It's a really actually great book by my teacher, one of my teachers, Tara Brach, called Radical Acceptance. So I'll link that below. And that you can change your entire perspective. What does that mean exactly to you? If you were to change your entire perspective today, what would that look like? Like, what have you done through the struggle and the search to feel lighter, to feel more spiritually awake? I love what this particular says. You have disappeared into an ocean of love. So on the outside, not much changes, but on the inside, your world has been completely transformed. So if you're feeling a little bit of that, know once again that this is a beautiful, beautiful journey to be on. And you should feel whatever's coming up, I should say, anything you feel is part of that. And you may see glimpses of Satori or enlightenment or what have you, or just like pure happiness, pure bliss. It doesn't matter. That's not the goal. The journey's not the destination, right? At all. So you have a transcended separateness. Now, I hope that actually like hits a little bit. I mean, who are we kidding? I'm on YouTube telling 1 million people about separateness. I can't really teach it. You can only experience it. But I could tell you the stages that lead to these little glimpses in this journey. And then the fifth stage is the return. So the return is driven by compassion and love and justice. You return from the periphery, and that's like the world of form. So some spiritual seekers are seeking is a place not to transform absolutely everything, is to live in the material world. So this is where you realize it's not about ego whatsoever. And hopefully you've noticed that along the path a little bit. So the ego, if the ego can easily get in the way of this journey, this awakening. So you have to come back again and again to be rooted in your reality and in your heart so that it expands. We can't stay in a place of enlightenment or pure bliss. Sometimes they call that spiritual materialism. There's a lot of that again in this Western world. I don't really want to be part of that too much. If I did, I'd probably be really rich right now, but I'm not. So I am just telling you that it's a beautiful thing to just live in our world and to experience again and again our connections to everything. So I think that along this journey, there's a lot of things that come up. There's like places of fear. There's places of seeking knowledge and looking for teachers. You look to your shadow self. That you go deep and you find places of solitude, and then you come back together and see that what you're experiencing in a way is also a collective consciousness. And then there's times where you feel kind of really, really low, but then you kind of come out of that and the fog kind of goes away and you suddenly see the sunshine and you glimpse into all sorts of phases of pure light and consciousness and compassion, and suddenly it's all integrated into your life. It's contentment. I can't say that happens all the time or all day, every day, but I can say that when you do feel it and you're free of that ego, that's a really great place to be. That means your heart is shining everywhere. And without even knowing it, you're of service of others. You're healing yourself, but you're also healing others just by simply existing. So that's the 5 stages of spiritual awakening. I hope this begins multiple conversations because I love talking about all this stuff. And I'll just end once again with that quote: out beyond the ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. So see you guys again real soon. And thank you for everything. Peace, peace, peace. I will see you guys soon.